I caught some. He was talking about like, I don't even know if I want to be an FD anymore.
Everybody I talk to is in competition. They're miserable.
I don't see how it's worth it.
He said he's won more money outside of FD than he's ever won any money or gotten any money from FD itself.
So what's your take on Matt Field?
Everybody looks at me and
Yeah,
they're
what
like,
is your take on Matt Field? Fuck it, we're gonna do that this section.
So Matt Field,
Hell of a driver.
hell of a driver.
Yeah.
Hell of a fucking driver. Like when I saw him drive at FD Atlanta, like dude
He's
can
a real
drive
deal,
his
man.
ass
He's
off.
a real McCoy.
I won't give him any hate whatsoever, but kind of a dick sometimes. Like love him to death, but like, you know, it's just like the vibe that comes off with like Matt Field and the people that surround him. You know, like if you were to blow up and you were to get famous, or you were to blow up and you were to get famous, I'm not the guy to be having in your fucking pits.
Why?
Because sometimes I'm nice, sometimes I'm a dick. You might catch me on a drunk rage one time, and I might be like,
I feel like I'm not that way. Like even if I was famous, I think I would just check my people. I would be like, Jesse, what are you doing?
yeah,
don't talk to people like that.
See, but he doesn't have that control. He doesn't have that like step in and be like, hey, don't do that. He's like,
I don't know. Listen.
boys
So I'm
gonna be boys.
I'm just saying that's what his fans say, right? And like,
Yeah.
and listen, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I always go into this before I ever talk because it never makes it into the cut because Dawson cuts this part out. We don't hate Matt Field, okay?
No,
he's just at the
nobody hates Matt
forefront.
Field.
He's just at the forefront of the drama that surrounds FD. He is, dude. He's the problem child of FD. I've even seen them call him that in some of the comments because he just is, you know? So we're going to talk about him a little bit.
They don't need to be.
Adam LZ. Now that's one.
Yeah, all right. You got an Adam LZ story?
I do.
Let's hear it.
So FD Atlanta, I think it was like 2020, 2021, something like that. I can't remember what year it was. But it was when he, you remember the video where he came in like 140 miles an hour, hauling fucking dick on Odie Bocce, and he hit Odie and like hopped up on Odie's car.
Yeah,
You remember that? In the fucking Sylvia? The S15?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. So I was front row on that run. Like literally sitting by the first entry. I saw every bit of that. And I watched all of his car parts go flying. And like Odie even told me down in the pits, he was like, yeah, I looked up and I saw headers and was like, oh, fuck. It's rough. Like he looked up and saw his headers underneath. He's that on his shit. Like he had jumped up on him and like his tires were over top the roof of the car. And he looked up and saw the underside of Adam LZ's car. Now
that's a sight to see.
Who can be at blame? I don't know. But I know that like when I watched it coming in, I was like, he's way too hot. He's way too hot. He doesn't have any time to slow down. And then I saw the wreck and was like, well, bam, fuck. So I watched parts fly off and like, you know, the crew guys or whatever run around and they pick up all the parts and they give them back to the little guy in the little golf cart or whatever. And he drives it off to their pits to give them their car parts back. Well, there was one part that was missed. And it was a like flare from the front bumper. And you know that kit came from Japan and it was like one of one or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like super special. Well, I ended up getting a flare from it because I looked at Larry Chin and I was like, yo, it's like, can you go get me that? I was like, they forgot a part on the track. I was like, can I have it? And he was like, yeah, give me a second. Let these runs come through. And then when there's a dead time, I'll run out there and I'll grab it for you. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So he ran out there and he fucking grabbed it and he brought it back and he was like, here. He was like, if you want to, he was like, I'd go get that signed right now. He's in the pits. And I was like, all right, well, it's the fucking last battle. Like final two.
Larry told you to go get it signed by LZ?
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell he's an OG gangster. He knows the fucking play.
Yeah.
That's smart. I wouldn't even thought of that.
I was like, all right. So I left on the final battle and like Allie's up there watching the final battle go on or whatever. And I was like, I don't care. I'm going to go get this signed real quick. So I run down to the pits and it's like all the way across the track. I had actually tried to get a Grom. Like I had messaged a few people and tried to see if I could like buy a Grom so that I could have a Grom at the event. Didn't work out. So I ended up running my ass all the way down to the fucking pits to try to catch him.
How far was it? Like compared to Clarksville?
Dude.
2 Clarksvilles?
Like 4.
Nuh-uh.
I swear to God. Like everybody there was driving like
Dude,
they rented
that's
out.
like 2 miles, right?
They rented out golf carts. If that tells you anything, like they were renting golf carts out for like $250 a fucking golf cart if you wanted to use it to get around because it was a giant ass track. So like I ran all the way down, and like I mean the pit area alone is probably like an entire Clarksville, but to get to there was like all the way across the track. You know, so like you're talking, I probably moved 1.5 miles, 2 miles to get down there. And I got down there and I was like, hey, can you sign this for me? And he picked it up and he looked at it and he was like, looked back, and then he like looked forward and he was like, I hate to really do this, but like, would you be mad if I gave you like some merch or something instead and I took this? And I was like, he was like, where'd you get this from? And I was like, it came off of your car when you wrecked into Odie. And he was like, he was like, could I just like give you some merch or something like that? And then his pit crew, like the people that built that car, came up and he like cut him off and interrupted him. And he was like, no, fuck that. He was like, I've zip tied this goddamn bumper 25 times. He was like, I'm not doing it anymore. He was like, buy another kit. He was like, I'm not putting that back on the car. He was like, give the man the fucking piece, sign that shit, and get it the fuck on. And
Oh my God.
and like, dude, I'm so serious. Like,
Who was it from the pit crew?
like the crew, like the head chief, like the guy that like runs his shit, that built that car, that did all the tube work on it, that did all the body kit, and all of that shit. Apparently, it's the fucking guy that zip tied it like 25 fucking times to remanufacture this fucking front bumper.
So what? All right. So what happened? So he comes over. His crew chief is like, "Dude, fucking cut it out, man. Just what are you gonna give him?"
He was like,
for?
"I'm not zip tying it again." He was like, "Just let it go." He was like, "Buy another kit." He was like, "I'm not doing it again. It's not happening."
But this is what I pay you for.
I was like, "All right," and he was like, "Okay, I'll sign it." And then he turned over and he like signed it real quick, like sloppy as fuck, and was like, "Here you go." And I was like, "All right, cool." Then I walked over and the dude from the crew was like, "Come here." And like I sat there and chopped it up with him for a minute, and he was like, he was like, "Yeah, we did this." He was like, "We do anything really." He was like, "If you need any work done on your cars," he was like, "just let me know." He was like, "I can do tube work." And like, they were really cool people. He was like, "Anytime you come back to FD," he was like, "come back to the pits." He was like, "I'll let you in." He was like, "You can come kick it, chop it up with us, sit around, talk, whatever, blah, blah, blah."
That's
just
cool.
bullshit. And I was like, hell yeah. So then I fucking left and started walking back. And then I saw Chelsea DeNova sitting on the trailer. And he's like sitting there and he was talking to, he had his girl with him. And then the Linked HQ people were there talking to him. And I was like, hell yeah. So I'm still like starstruck because like I look up to Chelsea DeNova.
Yeah.
Super humble dude, really good driver. And also like one of those people that doesn't really mind to like teach you things, as you know, school of drift, all that stuff. So like, you know, he's really,
I feel like he's one of the last people that like, he really likes drifting. Like I like drifting for the vibe. I think Chelsea DeNova likes drifting because he likes drifting.
no, well, yes, he likes drifting for drifting, but he also likes drifting for the vibe. Like I caught some shit. Like dude, he was talking about like, I don't even know if I want to be in FD anymore.
I don't blame him. Everybody I talk to is in competition.
Like,
they're fucking miserable.
No bullshit. He was like,
I don't see how it's worth it.
he was like, I haven't won money since the last time that I was in like an actual, like almost like a grassroots type battle.
Yeah.
Like he said he's won more money outside of FD than he's ever won any money or gotten any money from FD itself.
Well, one of them was saying that you only win like 3,500 or $3,000 or something, like a really small purse for an FD event. And I was like, dude, I've talked to some of these people, like, you know, because we have the podcast. I've talked to some of these fucking people, and it costs more than that to go. Like, so you hope you go and you hope you break even?
Yep.
Pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass. No, thank you.
He
I have
said
zero
he's won-
interest.
Break even. Half the people
He said
are
he
losing.
won like 10.
They're making their
or-
money off of ads and like sponsorships and stuff, and that's like
You can do that without FD, though.
exactly. That's my point. I don't see how it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
He said he won like $10,000 or $15,000, and he was like, I still remember that day to this day. He was like, I remember, what the fuck was it that he said? He was like, I remember when I won that money. He was like, and that's like the most money I've ever won while drifting. He was like, why the fuck am I even doing this shit? He was like, I don't even know if I'll drift next year. But he did. He obviously did. He continued on it. He continued doing it.
Yeah.
But then like Justin Pollock.
I'll be doing it too. I'm not even fucking. I'm just saying. Yeah.